gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody, so do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash the like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. It warms up that X algorithm and does us a real solid. Also, find y'all up top, you'll find the abstract chat already popping off as always. I'm going to drop the YouTube link over there in a second. You're probably going to hear a little bit of background noise as I pull up that link, but just disregard it. We are still on a race for. I got to figure out a better way to do that. We're still in a race for 1,000. We're going to for 200 first and then 1,000. We've got to beat Sun Frontin to 1,000 subs over on the YouTube street. So appreciate the love there. Even if you're not watching the YouTube video, just head over there, give us a like, subscribe. Greatly appreciated. You may have noticed our fearless producer Payne is out this week, so our podcast might hit a little later than normal, but the guy, we can't even get him to take a vacation, doesn't even take a break. He's out enjoying some family time and still continues to work tirelessly behind the scenes. So any love we can give our guy, Payne, would be appreciated. You can do that, again, by dropping those GMs, by giving us a like, follows, the YouTubes, the abstracts. The X video feed is live on Steve's account today as well. And as always, I'm Cap, joined by my co-host Steve. Never need financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exception risky. Go to 0 to moment's notice, except in a raging bull. It's full risk on. Just shove all the chips in the middle and pray. A kid, but not really. ETH's on its way to 10K, and we are ready to rip through the summer into the fall. And I don't know, no top in sight. But in all seriousness, please don't put any money you can't afford to lose. We are not financial advisors. We really don't know what we're talking about on that front. So don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM feeling good. I know we'll talk about it today, but made some moves into ETH again. Not with size,
I think we may just stick with sun fronting since it is
or we do the what's it called? We do the
Is the only teenager or preteen getting shout outs on the show that's his father feeling disrespected on the name.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a world where we do the just like the Skip Bayless clown Tonio Brown. We could do like the Son Von Frunten or like Von Frunten's son or something like terrible that just doesn't at all work. I
mean, if we don't beat Son Frunten, Von Sutton's Von Frunten Jr., whatever we want to call it, if we don't beat him if we don't have more subs by the end of the year, I think we probably just have to decommission our YouTube. We have to turn it off.
How about this for an autocorrect, by the
way?
We
have hundreds, if we have thousands of people that can support us. This kid's starting from scratch and running circles around us. So yeah, we've got to figure this out.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, first of all, GM'd all the people out there. A hell of a typo in the thing. I had the to 10K instead of ETH to 10K because I got auto-corrected. My phone, it's crazy because my phone has auto-corrected stuff to ETH before, which is kind of funny. But in any case, give us a like, a retweet, a comment on the room. Thanks to all the people out there in the various video chats. We got Dunk Cookie, we got Machiavelli, we got Mesh, we got Board Osaka. Always good to see you up bright and early with us. We got Von Frunten across all platforms. Teacher Katie coming through strong. Rare Ed, Peace Frog, Cool Chick, Floor Slime. Good to see you. I can't believe how long. By the way, shout out Thomas as well. You were in my I think my A tier list when I signed up for whatever that random other InfoFi site was the other day that gave you the little like tiered lists on it.
What was that? I saw it. I haven't done it yet.
I'll send you an invite link. I don't know, man. I already forgot. It's
Inner Circle, but what was the actual brand that's doing it?
I don't remember. I
want to say Banker, but I know that's not it. Our shout out to our favorite tip wars on the X app, Banker Bot. That's not it. Banter, BANTR. That's what it is.
I know competitors are going to come into the space. I encourage competition. It's good for getting things right. It's just at some point I'm exhausted by their appeal was that they had an S tier, A tier list based on your replies, which is just a new way of saying who replies to you a lot and who's up there. So,
I don't mind it. Like if that's the end product, if that's all it is, then it's whatever. People will forget about it very quickly. I think you got to do something different. You can't just do a straight copy pasta of everything else. You got to have some unique, like even like Project X at launch. It's like 1 of 10 already live on Hyper EVM. But they're doing it different. They're doing a slightly different approach. In this case, they're really leaning into some of their KOL friends. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't work, but it's just like there's going to if something finds product market fit, it's near impossible that there's not competitors. It's near impossible that it's not almost carbon copy. Like it's just you're going to, if you catch lightning in a bottle here, if you figure out something and you find product market fit, others are like, it might be a direct fork. They may vampire attack your people. Like I think we're like, that's normal to see that. I think what is to keep an eye on is what else do they have? What do they do next? And if it's just a different spin on attention to launch their thing, that's the copy pasta version of what came prior to it, it probably doesn't stick. But I think about, let's think back to like NFTs. Apes weren't first to market with a PFP. Even after that, they were the ones that caught lightning in a bottle in 21, as far as the PFP NFTs go, and sent that mania skyrocketing. What number were Pudgy Penguins after Bored Apes minted? Like 100 something? Like I don't know, but it wasn't second, it wasn't third, it wasn't fifth, right? It's like, and they all, I mean, not all, but if you weren't here at that time, what happened is Bored Ape Yacht Club minted, they caught lightning in a bottle. It was positive momentum. The war on the floor was a 1 ETH floor. And then we saw every single animal to ever walk the planet. It was like Noah's Ark. We had doubles of every animal to ever walk the planet, a PFP collection that was almost an identical roadmap of Bored Ape Yacht Club. 99% of them failed to even get out of the starting gates. Of the 1% that got out of the starting gates, 99% of those probably don't exist today either. And somewhere along the way, like, I don't know, let's just hypothetically say it was the 700th mint following Bored Ape Yacht Club was Pudgy Penguin. They end up becoming the leader this cycle, right? So it's like, and in the beginning, now again, I know there was a original founder, he's no longer there, and they sold, and Luca came in and put his own twist on things. But in the beginning, Pudgy Penguin was essentially they minted with the Bored Ape Yacht Club roadmap. And they weren't first, it was nothing unique. It was just their different spin was a cute fat penguin. And I remember back, they did maybe some of the first KOL marketing to where I think they had the paid advertorial in the New York Times, if I remember correctly. They had the Bankless Boys talking about them. Like that was their unique spin pre-Luca that I think probably captured Luca's attention. And then Luca put his touch on it. But like my whole point being there is if cool Ethereum doesn't launch Pudgy Penguins because it's already been done 87 times prior or 600 times prior before, what's Luca doing today, right? So like I'm not going to hate on anyone for copying something here. I think it's very normal. And I say this because I don't think anyone's nailed the model yet. I don't even know if like this whole banter is even an InfoFi thing. I'm not even sure. I haven't played around with it, but I don't think anyone has found the end state. And so I expect we'll see dozens, if not hundreds of more of these protocols attempt to launch. And 99% of them are going to go to zero. Maybe fast forward a few years and Kaido's still the leader. Maybe it's Wallchain. Maybe it's the 17th one from now to launch ends up being the one that nails it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Pudgy Penguins analogy never holds as far as like, to your point, like it was a very it's not like they came in and had some unique differentiator. It's like, that would be the equivalent of like this comes right. Like your analogy would be the equivalent of like this thing comes in, it fails. Everyone calls it dead. Everyone calls it a rug. Everyone calls it scammy. And then someone comes in and buys it and it does really well. Like to me, like that's not predictable.
Quick digression. I found a new drink. I'm a big fan. I've been talking like functional beverages are going to be the next big mania. And I hope this is what Rec leans into. I know it's hard to see with my ring light reflecting.
Odyssey 222.
Odyssey. So they have multiple kinds. They have a regular Odyssey and they have an Odyssey 222. The regular Odyssey, it has 85 milligrams of caffeine. The 222 has 225 milligrams of caffeine. More important than the caffeine is it's got 1,500 milligrams of lion mane, 1,250 milligrams of cordyceps. So it's essentially your functional mushrooms. It's also, the caffeine is from green tea. It's good healthy caffeine. It's also got L-theanine, 85 milligrams of that. It's got 100 milligrams of Panax ginseng in it. Like high quality drink. It's got 25 calories, 1 gram of sugar, no added sugar, and tastes solid. Like I don't mind. I can drink whatever. Like I almost said I could drink piss. I'd never done that, nor would I, unless I'm like, it's survival somewhere. But so it's not like the greatest tasting drink, but it tastes fine. And I think these types of, it was like $3.99. These types, I'm never going to buy a sparkling water for $3.99. Just not. I go to Publix and I'll buy the buy one get one free 12-pack. I will absolutely buy something that's functional, whether it's energy in the form of more than just caffeine, but in particular, I'm a big fan of adaptogenics. I'm a big fan of these like drinking something that's healthy, that's not loaded with sugar, and it's not just water. There's not enough selection in the market today. And in my rant, sorry for that digression, but yeah, I just found it and big fan of this Odyssey brand. Yeah,
no, it's 222. I mean, that's like a small coffee from Starbucks. That's a good amount of caffeine for someone to start their day with. I think it's like,
well, it's also, I also have pre-workout in me. So it's like, I think that's 175. So like 400 milligrams deep.
Okay. So you're over the daily allocation, but we don't take the normal amount of caffeine on this show. So that makes sense. Normal allocation, I think, is about 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. I destroy that on a regular basis. I need to be better about it. But, no, I actually, again, not to bring it back up because I know we've talked to him he's come up a few times since we talked about this, but Chris Williamson, our guy, has a functional beverage like that actually that he sells similarly. So I know that those things are popular. What's that?
You know the brand?
No, it's like, it's not called, like, it's nootropics or what's in it or something, but it's got some sort of a name like that. If you just go to his Instagram, you can find his ads for it all over the place. He sells it. But very similar. He just sells sort of a functional caffeine brand. I've considered buying it because, like, I basically need to see if price-wise it's out of control because of his following. Because I did search up I did ask ChatGPT. One of my things I always ask ChatGPT, I'm like, I really like Chris Williamson. I listen to his podcast. Is this a bunch of snake oil? Is this BS? Like, I asked that question. And it's like, it's not BS per se, but it's not necessarily some supercharge, but it can do this. It can do this. So, anyway, but yeah, do us a favor. Give us a like, retweet, a comment on the room. I don't think I hit the GMs in the chat, so I need to find those. Takes me a hot minute sometimes to get them, but I'm
a little late on the stream drop mobile. I'm posting that up top now.
Yeah, so we'll get this thing rolling. Let's get the space going. Like, retweet, comment to the room. GM, Peanut, Machiavelli, Moles on Ape out in the chat. Diablito, OC, good seeing you out there. Chief, Dobbins, Mel, not a late GM, Mel. You're okay. 5 minutes after start is still awesome, especially if you give the like, the retweet of the room. Marathon Crypto, awesome to see you. Maria, Joey, Vowels, Aspiring Nobody, Beanie, Das Scrub, Floor Slime always out there as well. Mesh in multiple chats. Zombie Rob, appreciate all of you out there getting us running this morning. But yeah, man, I don't know what the name of the beverage is, but worth checking out. I may check out something like that. I've been because I'm like not like summer's my drinking season. I know you're not a drinker. I've been a drinker for many, many years. Had Simple Farmer on yesterday. He doesn't drink for a couple of years. I do like to have a beverage from time to time, but I've been trying to be more thoughtful about, like, if I'm just kind of sitting outside instead of sipping on a glass of wine or sipping on a beer, having a, like a Kill Cliff, if you know what those are, or a Fit Aid, if you know what those are. Like, they're sort of canned drinks that have similar qualities to them. Or even just like a rec drink. I was drinking Recs yesterday by the pool, 30 calories, but no alcohol in them. So,
I mean, in all seriousness, like you said it on summer, like, you could, like, if you're having like a day at the pool, you could pound 12 beers and not even realize it, because you just get dehydrated and you just like, and also because it's also, I feel, and I don't know the science behind this, but my thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is like, if you're out and you're sweating and you're in the heat like that, you could pound 12 beers and not be as intoxicated as you would just sitting in your basement in the middle of the winter. Is that accurate?
I have no idea. I haven't. I'll do a double blind study for you and report back. But I don't know, man. Over the summer, it is easy to get in that mode, especially like I went on vacation in Hilton Head with my family, and like I said, we had like 18 people in a house. I wake up in the morning, have some coffee, have some food, whatever, go to the beach, maybe have bring a bottle of whiskey to the beach. I don't know if you're supposed to have it in public or not. Just to be safe, we're a bunch of 40 to 50-year-old people putting a bottle of whiskey into a pretzel bag and bringing it to the beach like we're in like college, sneaking it into a football game. But yeah, like, had a couple of whiskeys and then like go to lunch, grab a beer, like all those things. So it's easy to like get out of control on it.
Do you remember they're probably still a thing. Bud Light came out with these small cans years ago, raspberries and strawberry. You remember what I'm talking about? Are they still like a thing? Is it?
I'm not sure, because those are popular, so I'm not even sure if
they were super popular. It was like pre-White Claws, right? And for a few summers there, they were like, it was the summer drink. They had like, I was actually at Lollapalooza one year, and it was like the thing at Lollapalooza. They had like the tall cans, like everyone's drinking these. I can't remember like the first one. It was like maybe.
Well, Bud Light Lime was first, and then they brought in or Bud Lime or whatever it was. Bud Light Lime was first. Then they brought in the raspberry and the different flavors, and I don't know. They're all chasing the Zima Dragon.
This was my not to do. This is alpha. This is real life advice. Never, ever, ever do this. This is not why I don't drink anymore, but this is just a cautionary tale. Was vacationing in Florida. Actually, might have been the same area I live in now. Raspberries at their peak, all-time high. Two of us out on the water. I think we probably pounded 24 raspberries in a few hours kayaking on the water. And thought it was a good idea to start playing chicken with sharks. Thinking, oh, these are like little nurse sharks in a bay. They're not going to hurt us. I'm not even kidding. Like, we'd be paddling the kayak. We'd see the fin shark coming right at us and then go underwater. Like Jaws. Not a care in the world. Thinking it's like, they're not going to hurt us. There's just like little tiny sharks in the bay. Come to find out, they weren't tiny sharks in the bay. They were bull sharks, which are extremely aggressive. And the last thing you want to do with a bull shark is fuck around with them and play chicken with bull sharks. And yeah, like, ran pure that day because there's some multiverse where I was a victim of a bull shark attack that day.
That's yeah, not smart. That's a insane. I don't mess with things in the water. I don't mess with things on land either. But there are certain things where it's like I like seeing things, but like I'm not a deep camper or hunter because I get it. If it's all your thing, go for it. I'm not in the mood to dive deep into the woods and see a grizzly bear, which I'm just this soft bag of water it would destroy.
So funny. I haven't been camping in years. I got out on the kayak over the weekend in a river north here. So it's like brackish water where I don't think there's sharks.
Probably gators.
Could be gators. Didn't see any. Had a great time and it gave me the itch. I'm like, man, I want to go like, because there was a spot like pulled over, banked a little bit. And there was like a fire pit. I was like, oh, I'd camp out here. And I've never camped in Florida. I think part of it's probably like I just haven't been in that mode since I've been down here, and probably not optimal when it gets really hot. But yeah, I'm getting the camping itch. I'm getting the nature itch, and I don't know.
I like that, but I like to be in nature in the controlled fixed situation. Like I want a glamp. I want a cabin.
Okay.
And if I want to go hike in a place that's like relatively well-traveled hiking, I'm cool with that. Like, not that I want to be around people all the time. I'm lucky. I have a amazing, it's not a national park, but an amazing park that is, I'm not kidding, a half mile from my house. I can walk into a park where you feel like you're in the middle of the woods and you're not like more than a mile from a main road, I guess, or not a few miles from a main road, basically going through the woods in this like big woodsy area. That's my jam. Maybe you see people, maybe you don't, but it's pretty safe. It's pretty well pathed. It's pretty well maintained. I don't know, like teach their own. I'm not knocking anybody, but it's like similar to camping with your bull shark thing. I'm not somebody who's trying to go in the water when there's any sort of water animal that is like, if a water animal is nigh, I am not around. Like I am not trying to be anywhere by a shark or a gator. Those things move fast in the water. I am slow and bad. And I'm a strong swimmer. I am probably an above average swimmer. I'm not trying to get absolutely just wrecked and murdered. So, yeah, it's just a different world. Like it's their world. I don't mind visiting it and seeing it, but I want to do it in safe conditions. So anyway, I know Joey's coming up. He's going to give us some thoughts on this. We'll let Joey get in real quick. And then I want to some ETH. I want to talk some airdrop stuff. I had a thought this morning about airdrops that I want to talk about as well. The Department of Justice dropping the investigation against Polymarket. A lot of ETH catalysts, though, so I definitely want to get into that as we go. But I don't know, Joe, if you had thoughts on this before we keep.
I also have a question for your marketing brain. I just want to throw that out there before I forget. But yeah, go ahead, Joey. GM, thanks for jumping up.
GM, guys. So first, the question about drinking in the sun and like, oh, if you're sweating it out, then you won't get as drunk. It's actually false because alcohol dehydrates you. So being in the sun dehydrates you. So it actually exacerbates all the effects of alcohol. And it's really easy to get alcohol poisoning. And for some reason, when you're drinking in the sun, you're more prone to getting sunburn as well. So there's all kinds of problems with drinking out in the sun. Like, you know, if you're not hydrating with water, if you're not at least in the shade, if you're on the beach and you're not under shade, you're just sitting there like pounding alcohol, you're definitely at risk for lots of things you wouldn't be if you were sitting at home. And then the second thing, talking about the shark stuff, there's a new show that just came out on Netflix, or it's a movie called Shark Whisperer. It's about this chick from Hawaii that literally free dives with sharks, large sharks, great whites, bull sharks, tiger sharks and great white sharks. She's actually been filmed hanging onto the dorsal fin of a great white shark and going for a ride. Because she believes that sharks are not inherently aggressive towards humans, and she proves this by literally every day going out and free diving with some of the largest tiger sharks off of Hawaii. And it's a really, and I'm not saying by the way, this is not free diving advice. Do not go out and free dive with tiger sharks. She's an expert, but it's a really cool movie. If you're into like that Shark Week kind of stuff, it's called The Shark Whisperer on Netflix.
Yeah, there is a old Chris Rock sketch that he did from his Bigger and Blacker tour, which he did when he toured. I saw him live at Ohio State before it, came out, and he was doing the whole tour. And he talks about Siegfried and Roy. And he talks about Siegfried and Roy getting attacked by a tiger. And he's like, and I will butcher, it's not funny, that particularly funny, whatever. But it's like, I'm not particularly funny. He was great at the time. But there's this thing where, everyone's like, that tiger went crazy. That tiger went crazy. And he's like, that tiger didn't go crazy. That tiger went tiger. And I think that there's a certain world where I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not hoping anything, but it's like the person who lives in the woods with the bear and then ultimately gets killed by a bear. It's like, you realize like these are wild animals, and certain people are, people like Paul Rosalie are like incredible when you look at their stories and hear about how they manage, the Amazon and the way they manage snakes and dangerous animals and anacondas and other things. I don't have it in me. Maybe it's a mentality thing, but it's, I don't know. I'm hard pass on that.
Look at Steve Irwin, right? That man, how many dangerous animals did that man like capture, wrestle, show off? And then one day he's just swimming in the ocean and a stingray whips its tail and barbs straight through the heart, dead.
Yeah. It's a very real, it's a very, very real scenario. So look, just be careful out there. If you're in the water, if you're in the woods, animals, like, people don't realize how dangerous these animals can be. And so it's definitely, this is not a Labrador that you're dealing with who has been bred for years to be a family dog. So, but in any case, Cap, I can
new tonic is what you're referencing earlier. Shout out to Peanut for getting that one for you.
There you go. Thank you, Peanut. Appreciate that. But yeah, like, I don't know, Cap. Let's get into some news, because I know we have a lot of stuff, or at least we have a lot in general. I actually want to talk about something. I'm going to pin something to the top, and I want to get your take on this, and then I want to get like your take on something you tweeted the other day, so we can kind of share both. I'll share it on the screen in a second. I'm going to pin it to the top, and then I'm going to get your take on this, and then I want to get your take on, in general, on the concept of airdrops, because you had a tweet about airdrops the other day that I thought was like worth talking about that maybe we didn't hit on. So I'm going to pull it up on the screen so people can see it. But I kind of put out a tweet this morning. All these companies with upcoming TGEs, OpenSea, Abstract Chain, Mega ETH, etc., are now playing a bit of a game of chicken with the market. You want to airdrop in the market in ideal market conditions. Like, we hear that all the time. Market conditions. Right now, it's great, but that can change quickly. It'll be interesting to see how these teams play their hand. To give an example, by the way, of this, it's an NFT, but my buddy James Costa, when he dropped the Clubhouse Archives NFT, it was a great membership, high-quality clothing, getting you some great apparel, membership club. He built this community really deeply, and then he planned his TGE, planned his drop, and then ETH tanks. And he drops when ETH is like 1,000 or like sub $1,000. And suddenly this, price that he had fixed on USD goes from being 0.08 or 0.1 to like 0.3 or whatever it was. And suddenly it just seems like a very expensive mint that people didn't want to get involved in. So timing does matter. And I put, many are predicting face melting Q4, but the market can flip on a dime. We're always one geopolitical event, one black swan, or one financial contagion away from a major shift. By the way, speaking of that, I just saw an article about Hayden Davis testifying, but nobody talking about it. Probably going to talk about that later today. Obviously, you need a real plan for the token post TGE. We saw that with the Dude token, what happened there. Otherwise, the only thing to do is sell, and that's not great for your token. But if I were one of these teams, I'd be revisiting my roadmap and asking if now or very soon is actually the best time to distribute. So the idea basically being, we're constantly talking about, ideal market conditions when people are doing airdrops and they want to do it at the right time. And I hear a lot of people talking about Q3, Q4. There's a world where something happens between now and then that we don't foresee. Right now, we have things going incredibly well. Pangu's cooking, and, ETH is cooking, and Bitcoin's cooking, and TradFi's excited. It feels like a good time if you are one of these companies to do a token drop. Like if Mega ETH or OpenSea or Abstract was like, token drop next month, that feels like a good time. On the other hand, and concurrently to this discussion, and you can take this any direction you like, there's also your comment that you think airdrops should be dead. Like, people shouldn't be airdropping free money anymore outside of like this loyalty rewards, or it's sort of not the right meta. So I want to get your take on this, like airdrop season, airdrop token. Should companies be airdropping at all? Should they be thinking about airdropping soon? Because I think like we've seen this thing where people wait for the perfect time to do something, and then events happen, and suddenly ETH's $1,000, and it doesn't feel like the right time. So a lot of stuff there. But I want to get your take on your tweet you had the other day, which I'll try to find and pull up while you're talking, but also on looking for the right time to do it, because it feels like I'm not trying to be premature. We're just, we might be in the first inning, but it's also possible there's a geopolitical event tomorrow that throws us all off, and it's like, man, we should have done it when we had the chance and we missed our opportunity. So curious about that as I go to pull up your tweet.
Yeah, I mean, on real quick on that, I think, I mean, sure, anything could happen. It'd take a lot, I think. I think we've got at least the rest of the year to run ahead of us. I don't like. It seems like it would be very short-sighted for like. Here's what I think as we get closer to the end of the year and start getting into 2026, I think there's much less likely that there's some crazy geopolitical, at least driven by the U.S. I think it's going to be an important midterm, and I think that I would be surprised if they do anything that might even be viewed as controversial that could alienate their voter bases. I'm not a politician or a political expert, so I have no idea. But I think we're now.
That's an interesting thesis. Real quick, before you go on that, because I want to tease that out, because I think it's an interesting thesis. I didn't consider this, and I don't want to let this point just fly over, because I think I want to put a flag in this one, because that's actually a really good point. Politicians going up for re-election probably want to feel pretty good about re-election, and the best thing for re-election is a good market. Yeah. And so, Cap's point that I absolutely smooth-brained didn't think about there is pretty strong, that if we're getting ready for a cycle where all these people are up for re-election, and we're considering what's going on with all the controversy with Epstein, with this, with that, with people voting, they probably want a cooking market. So anyway, please.
Now post midterms, when, I mean, Trump's in his home stretch, he's done, he's got, 2 years left after that and no re-election potential. The gloves are off. I'm bracing myself for all kinds of craziness. I have no idea, but I think that I feel safe, or it's probably not the right phrase. I feel pretty comfortable that there's nothing that we shouldn't see anything too crazy that the U.S. is driving.
They did vote down the Stablecoin Act, though.
So that's probably another deeper conversation. I haven't been following it too closely, but I saw there's actually three crypto bills in one shape or form that I last thing I read is they're believing that potentially all get passed as early as this week. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I guess they're black swan events because you don't anticipate them. The one thing that people keep referring to is there's this potential black swan hanging over MicroStrategy and Saylor. Okay, maybe Bitcoin would have to go from it'd have to be cut in half basically, and Saylor not be able to buy more Bitcoin or lower his liquidation point. Sure that could happen, but I don't see it happening anytime in the next 6 months.
But your point about it, the black swan is the one you don't see coming, right? Sure
it could happen. Right now, for all these reasons, it's just, I don't know. I feel pretty safe in the markets today, and looking ahead, I don't know what could even change my feelings, barring one of these unexpected events, until we start now. I do think midterms might be the sell the news event, just because I leading up to midterms, I don't see anything crazy happening. After midterms, who the hell knows? Gloves are off. I also just saw this morning, it looks like Powell may be getting fired.
Stepping down.
Right. Whatever happens there, I mean, I think he's done.
He also isn't getting I don't know who has the right to fire him. I know it's not Trump, but I also think he's probably being strong-armed into cutting rates, right? Like that's the goal there, which would be
But I
like
think the rates are
higher.
starting to get priced in. Maybe not all the way, but everyone is expecting rate cuts this year. I don't know anyone that doesn't think they're going to. I shouldn't say that. Look, if that was the case, the poly market things would be 100%. So it seems likely that rates get cut this year. I think it's getting priced in. I'm trying not to get too over my skis. I'm trying not to get full, I'm trying not to get greedy. I just feels good right now. And I don't know what might change how I feel about the markets between now and the end of the year.
Yeah. And I guess I see the point, but I guess my point is like, let me put it this way. Like, I would be, if I am a company like those three that is having an airdrop, that is having a large distribution. Like we've had Brett on the show before. He's like, when he talked about Kaido, he like talked about like, look, at some point we need to figure out how we're distributing tokens. We have tokens we have to give out. We've got fluffles. We've got people talking about us. We've got a community. But like at the end of the day, like, which, I'm hoping Mackie, I want to see Mackie get like a 6-figure airdrop there. But he's like, we have people who are trying to like, where we have to give away tokens. We're going to do it at some point. So he's thinking about it. If you're thinking about it, I guess let me put it this way. I would probably be thinking like sooner than later about like, what is a roadmap and strategy and plan if you were planning for, say, fall? And I would start like working against that, and maybe you push it back to winter. But like, I wouldn't be saying like, we're going to plan for Q4 because there's always delays and things that happen. Like I would be having some thoughts. Like if I'm OpenSea and you're doing these daily farming, swap NFT activities, the point you made, by the way, it gets old pretty quickly if you have 2 journeys a day where it's like buy a $50 NFT, sell a $50 NFT, buy a, whatever, all those things. So I think that like, and they're doing some cool surprise and delights and some other things, but if you're OpenSea, you probably want to be thinking about it. By the way,
we're back, baby. We got the $10 NFT back, so can't wait for market update today and see what we see there.
Yeah. We got a $50 one, I think. So it's going to be like
$50 token swap's been there, but there's the $10 NFTs.
Oh, was it only $10? I thought it was a $50 NFT. Whoops. I was thinking like Genesis is going to be on there, and there might be some other ones as well, but yeah.
I have a quick question. What is I've just noticed the first time there's a completion bar at the bottom.
Like what are you talking about?
On the OpenSea voyages, the Epic, which is a $50 token swap, it says 44% complete. The
maybe
zero.
Maybe it's not one token swap. Maybe it's you can swap up to 50 at a time. I just do it all at once. Man, I down horrendously. I think I went $50 NFT yesterday. So like I probably ate more on fees than I needed to. See what's going on there. And if I even the NFT just sold that I had, because I did have one going on there. Oh, nice. I bought and sold at like a $1 profit. Shout out me on my NFT buy yesterday. Hey, we're making generational wealth now.
I got that pulse width that I put an offer in on the show. That came through. And a current offer is basically about what I bought it for. So good there. And I did actually mint an NFT, Steve. I minted one of those thermal punks because it was an OpenSea mint, and I'm wasting money on OpenSea voyages.
I would say don't sell if you do that. Like, I don't know if I'm going to mint a thermal punk or not, but
there's only like 1,750 minted at the 5,000. It was a $20 mint, so it's like I basically just lit $20 on fire. Probably because I probably won't get $20 of OpenSea or C back, but whatever.
Yeah, sometimes they give like crates for if you bought. Like I got a crate when I bought.
If I don't get a crate for minting the thing, I'll fund them.
You riot. I got a crate for. I minted like I think what the DK mint was free or very very cheap. These little DK guys he minted, and I just didn't sell because it was so cheap. And then I got like a $50 XP crate. So, by the way, B Epic, thanks for the Newt tip. Newt. Actually, Newt is I'm simply excited. I simply hold. You want to talk about the value of like how much of a simpleton I am at sometimes? I simply hold Newt because I bought like $25 of it and I've been tipped in it occasionally. And they come in my mentions sometimes and say Newt. And so, or Janute or something. So I'm like, that's cute. They engage me. I like Newt. We hold the Newt. It's probably like somebody I know too, knowing that. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just was thinking about it. I do want you to go back because I was having trouble finding your tweet, and X search has been a pain, and I don't want to be just kind of staring at my screen. You talked about companies airdrop meta being not dead, but like Do you talk about the better
It needs to
distribution?
change. It needs to evolve.
What would you say if OpenSea's like, we're going to reward based on, ongoing loyalty in little drips of C starting in Q4 instead of giving you a big old airdrop for your activity back in 2021?
I'd be salty because I feel OpenSea is one of the exceptions, not the norm. I feel OpenSea,
Mega ETH and Abstract. Let's put those three all in the same category. Are they all in the same category? Yes, no?
No, not even close.
Love it. All right. Break it down.
So I think it's actually 3 different categories.
Oh.
You have OpenSea, who's been around for years, essentially found product market fit and then some last cycle, was like had their boom, generated billions of dollars in revenue, did huge raises, and they're now at a point I feel they should be rewarding the users who help them get there. I think back to we talked about the ENS airdrop. It wasn't like you had to do a bunch of farming. They just rewarded their loyal users, their loyal customers who help them get to where they are. Abstract is live, new. It's just launched this cycle. It's in points mode. We knew this from the beginning. We know there's a TG coming. Mega ETH's not even live yet. It's still pre-mainnet. So it's like you got 3 in very different. You have one that's been around for years. You have another one that just turned on, heading towards TGE, and then you have Mega ETH that's still pre-launch. So I think there's not one right answer on how they should do these airdrops, how they should do these claims. What I'm going to start with is ones that are new, like Mega ETH. Abstract, I guess, kind of fits in there. But even more so, ones that are like coming to market now. I do not think they should take the Pingu approach. And this is probably like going to sound silly because Pingu's absolutely crushing it now, outperforming a lot of stuff. But this is after it sold off tremendously because they gave away basically anyone who was ever active on Solana was able to claim Pingu. I don't know. We'd have to look at the data, but I'm guessing most of those claimers sold. And it drove the token from billions of dollars down to like 700 million. Once all the sellers got out, we've seen its recovery. Most can't recover like that. Look at Dude, right? Like after a sell-off, you lose momentum. Not only do you lose momentum of the new users you're attempting to bring in by giving them some free money, which all they do is just take the free money and don't support you. You also, it hurts your most loyal supporters. It hurts your, like, now in the case of Pingu, they've all, if they didn't sell the bottom, they've been made whole. But imagine the person who's been holding a penguin since mint. I love this is my thing. I'm not selling my airdrop. They hold it. All the people who have never supported Pudgies, they get their Pingu, they all sell it. And now that person who's been a brand supporter since mint, they're doubting themselves like, oh man, I really screwed up. I had an $85,000 claim. It's now $8,500. I screwed up. And they sell the bottom, they capitulate. And then the thing runs back up. That person's salty. You turned one of your loyalist supporters, your brand ambassador, into salty because you gave a bunch of free money to people who don't care about your ecosystem. Pudgy's, the exception, not the norm, and they were able to recover. I think in most cases, if you're expanding this wide net and giving everyone in crypto free claims or anyone that, I think that's a mistake. I think you should reward your actual users, your holders, your existing community. Make the others buy it. And Pump Fund's taking it one step further. They're not even giving it to their loyal users or holders. Like it's at least not right away. I think, and then fitting somewhere in between, and maybe I think the best executed model, if you zoom out and like if I were in the shoes right now and I was looking to replicate or duplicate something, I'm probably taking the hardest look at Rect because they did the free claim to their most loyal supporters, their brand ambassadors. They've been in their ecosystem for years. They didn't go wide with it. They just gave tokens to people they should, in my opinion, the people who deserve it the most. And now they're growing their community with these mini drops, right? Like not everyone can do the rec model because they're not selling a physical product like that. But how they've, instead of Like, and imagine if Rect had said, "Hey, we want everyone to come in and get our coin." Like, all those people, most of those people who claim Rect on TGE day, they would have just sold the token, and does nothing for Rect. It actually dilutes and hurts the existing brand. It hurts the holders. And oh, by the way, this $50+ million, which now is probably like $100 million marketing budget, Rect doesn't have because they gave it all away. Or maybe they have 10 million because they gave away 90% of it. Like, I just,
But Rec did tank at one point though, so it's not like that was like they distributed to the loyal holders and it just went to the moon type thing, right? I mean, that was also like a
yeah, but I don't know if it was. I think that was. I don't know if the Rec tanked because of people got free Rec were selling it off. I think Rec just it tanked in line with the rest of the market. Rec tanked when post Trump, like everything did. And you could say the same thing happened with Pingu, I guess. If you really wanted to go there, you could say, well, Pingu crashed with, the Trump Pico top of memes. Maybe, I don't know. I think it was. I think that giving away free tokens to people who have nothing to do with your ecosystem as an attempt to bring them into your ecosystem, I don't know if that really works, unless it's the slow drip like Rect is doing, because it's like, oh, I'm going to support this brand. I see the momentum. I'm going to buy this case of drinks for $70. I'm getting $150 in tokens. Maybe I sell $70 to get my money back, so I'm free rolling. But as what we're seeing is most people are just holding it because it's not a 6-figure bag of free money. We haven't even talked about the Goblin Town. I know it's much smaller. It's like a few bucks. But I think this idea of it's far better for the business. Like it's like, imagine if you bought a stock and you're like, oh, we're going to give dividends over, you qualify for dividends every quarter. But instead of, you buy a $400 stock and you get a $15 dividend a quarter, the first quarter you get a $4,000 dividend, but never again.
Yeah, but it's more like IPOs a little bit, right? Like, or it's sure, more like you're in pre.
Yeah, but if you got the dividend up front, everyone's selling the stock. No one's holding it.
No, I'm agreeing, but I'm agreeing with you.
Years of dividend on the first quarter, everyone's just exiting. Oh, I already got my goodies. I'm out. It just.
I'm agreeing with you, and I would actually extend the analogy to say, like, it's more like an IPO. You're in by the IPO, but guess what? There's vesting schedules for a reason type thing, right? Like, that's more. I think that's maybe the analogy. So just to build on it, because I agree with you, I think you put it in a good spot there, where it's like you're in IPO, you do have a day that pays you out, and you get like rich for a lot of people, but like a lot of times it's over time, and there's vesting dates, and it goes public, and there's time before you have to wait, and like I remember, and I'm not an expert on this stuff by any means. I remember when there was when the whoever it was bought Penn Gaming bought Barstool, and I remember like the higher ups got their stock payouts first, and I remember when Kevin Clancy KFC got his payout, and it was like a huge deal because he had to wait like another 6, 12, 18 months to get like payouts on those things. And that's the idea, is that it's more of a drip. Now those are big drips because people are in beforehand and there's enough public money at that point where it's not going to like, tangibly tank the price horribly. But yeah, I get your point. So if you're Abstract, OpenSea, and Mega ETH, OpenSea, you would drop all at once because that's a different historical one. They've raised a bunch of money.
I'm not saying drop all at once because...
But we can both say the same things are true, that like we might say they shouldn't, but we're going to be salty if they don't. Is that kind of like saying the same thing right there? Does that make sense? Is it? I know that seems like a juxtaposition.
I want all my C because I want to sell it. So if I'm OpenSea, you shouldn't give me all the OpenSea at once. You shouldn't give me all my C at once because or unless you give me a reason to hold, and most of them just don't do that very well. Now what we're seeing introduced that I think creates a better flywheel and an incentive to hold is the token buybacks. I know it may seem rudimentary, it may seem super simple. I'm glad I have an open long on Pump. I don't know if you saw yesterday. I mean, that's probably bearing the lead with the headline news here. Yesterday, Pump Fund bought more of their token. Like Bonk, they're part of their whole flywheel, and why Bonk took market share and why people got so excited about the Bonk token. And that launch pad is they were buying back their token. They've been doing this for months. Yesterday alone, Pump Fund bought more dollars of their token back than Bonk has to date in one day. And it, obviously was well received, sent the token. I think it was about $30 million a pump they bought back with their fees and then some. So, and I'm not saying like, oh, just that's enough, but I just, you got to build a flywheel. You have to have, you got to have sinks. You got to have some sort of buyback mechanism. There has to be something. Otherwise, there's nothing to even speculate on. People are just going to take their free money and be out. So it's like, yes, I don't think you should just give everyone free money because they have a pulse and they have a crypto wallet. If you're going to do that or not, you still have to have something to use the token for, to something to give, even if it's not utility, something to let people speculate on for, oh, I want to hold this because I think it's going to be worth more in the future. Where if it's just, hey, TG, congratulations, here's your free money, it's going to be a race to the exits.
Yeah, I it's funny. There's another conversation I want to have off this where it's, I saw a tweet from, TMA this morning, and I think we disagree fundamentally, him and I, on this. But I will say, like, yeah. So, like, with Abstract, if they're going to do that, do you think that Abstract's a little different because of the community they built, or do you think that's going to be a hella mega dump? Like, because I feel like Luca almost thrives on eviscerating the sellers on things. And, like, Pengu...
Yeah, but in the Abstract says Luca regrets giving tokens to non-believers. I'm not sure if he said that or not, or that's just he's reading between the lines. He gave so much to Soul Wallets. Diablito counter says, I'm in the Pengu ecosystem because Pengu that was dropped to me. Epic says, yes, but how many stayed? Lots of my BT bros haven't mentioned Pengu or Abstract since February. So with Abstract, I think two things. A, Luca's on a heater. The other thing is he has the experience of having recently done this with Pengu. And yeah, I don't think he would do the same thing again. So I think we'll see I think the Abstract TG will be interesting. It gets tough because now you got two tokens. How do you support them both? And how do you prop up Abstract without taking away from the momentum that Pengu has now?
What if the biggest announcement he says coming for Q4 is that, like, Abstract and Pengu are going to be in, like, a penguin ETF with pudgy penguins in some way, shape, or form? Like, what if that's it? You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, surprise, TradFi is going to be buying us too. It's funny. I got old takes exposed on this, by the way. I don't know if you saw this the other day. I responded to it. So yesterday, shout out to Wheezy 8 Baby said, I thought about this post today. Respect Steven, realized he was just talking out loud. I remember reading all the replies and almost had me second guessing myself. I believe in Luca and team. Sometimes actually believing in something works. Go read some comments, lol. So this is from February 2025. I said, is Pengu capable of a comeback? I'll read it. I'll make it a little bigger. But I said, is Pengu capable of a comeback? It's down from a $3 billion market cap to $500 million in about a month, and now hampered by the Solana scandal headwinds. What could drive a recovery? This isn't FUD. I'm not a meme coiner, but I believed in and still hodl this one. The lower drops, the lower sell targets get as people cut losses. What levers could turn this around? Utility, institutional money, something we haven't seen before. My thesis was mid Q1 expecting to ramp up marketing, but we're still trending down. I'm finally debating whether to cut my losses for the first time since I entered the trade. So if people remember, I didn't sell my Pengu after the airdrop I didn't claim it till after the new year for tax purposes. And then I was buying more going into it and ended up getting down. So I responded anyway to this, and you can read some of the responses. I responded like how it started, how it's going, because my next tweet just yesterday, hilariously, was, with Pengu's recent run, I'm finding myself wondering if it's the breakout coin of this cycle. Non-crypto people know the mascot from GIFs. The team is doing work, toys, cartoons, events, partnerships. TradFi already likes it. It's cute like Doge, which has a $28 billion market cap. So a lot of sentiment changed in about 6 months. Now, I don't regret the other tweet. That's the whole point. You're talking through the market. But it's funny because you talk about like Pengu and the regret of it going down. I felt that, right? This chart is horrendous. And people were talking about it. And I talked to people who were selling at the time. And I held through it. And I said, for what it's worth, I held all the way through it. But like, it's funny. I kind of got old takes exposed on that one because I saw like, it wasn't going anywhere. We didn't see anything. And then, certainly a lot can change in a very short period of time. But when I talk about Pengu being the potential coin of the cycle, yeah, man, I see like, like things can change very quickly. I did hold, I didn't sell. But your point about like the dump is very real because they gave it to a bunch of people. The new year came on. Solana headwinds came on, and all of a sudden we saw dumps. So yeah, like the distribution method, like I do wonder with Abstract, if you're going to do it, you got to announce it now, right? But like with Abstract or maybe ETH or any of them, is it like you have it unlock on a drip? But like people get mad about that, right? Then people are going to be upset. So I don't know what you say. I think part of the problem, and we'll go to Joey here in a second, but I think part of the problem is when you enter a cycle where you encourage farming, OpenSea has farming, Abstract doesn't have farming, but they do have farming. Mega ETH, it's like not farming, but you got Kaido and you got people minting things, you got Fluffles. It's hard not to give those people tokens upon TGE. Like it's hard to tell those people after the fact. Like to give you an example, by the way, something that I was very upset about, the Pirate Nation unannounced vesting schedule, where you did things and then suddenly like, hey, you can get these tokens in 6 months and we're doing it to align with this and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, well, wait a minute. This wasn't announced anywhere and we were leading up into the season and it gave a taste in people's mouths. So like, I think it's hard to manage that. I think if you're going to do that, you almost need to do it up front, like the way Rec does it, where the expectations are set versus like now. I think the genie is out of the bottle on all three of those. So I don't think they can do it differently. But I think to your point, if somebody's building something and saying, look, we're going to do a rewards model where, yes, you're going to get allocated points, and that's going to vest in the same point in which you accumulate them. So over 6 months, the points you earn for a month, vest month one. The points you earn for two, you got to announce that up front. Is maybe the way to do it.
No, I agree. I think, I don't know, man. Maybe this is just hopium. I'm hoping we see some new airdrop mechanics, some new claim mechanics. I just feel pretty confident giving free money to everyone or as many wallets as possible is not the right way to do this. And as much as I want my free money right up front, it's not the best for the ecosystem. It's not best for the brand. I think what you want, the best way to do it is not force a drip, is give a very strong incentive for those individuals to not want to sell their token. And that's hard. I know that's much easier said than done, but I think that's the answer. I also, you mentioned InfoFi or Kaido in passing. I don't know if we've really seen that like really well done yet, where someone, like we've seen certainly InfoFi campaigns where like everyone that got a claim was all based on the noise on their timeline, or I guess you could call it signal in some cases. But something like Abstract's a good example. Pre-TGE, like you said, there's no active farm, there's no active Kaido campaign, but they have a lot of information. You know, Luca and the Abstract team can absolutely see who's been talking about Abstract. They could choose to reward those people who've been brand ambassadors for the last 6-12 months. Like, as part of their claim, right? Like, yeah, you get your XP and your Abstract, or you're going to, penguins holders are going to get a little extra, and then have another bucket for Kaido, for InfoFi. I just like really a complete approach to this. And like, I think we'll see that. What I don't know yet, and I don't even really have an idea as to what's the strong incentive to get everyone to hold, or even even if it's just speculation on what might come. I think we still need to see that.
Yeah, and I think
I can see I'm rotating it into something else.
Yeah, and I think
without knowing why would I want to hold C? Because right now I don't care to have voting rights or governance on OpenSea. Like, I know it's faux anyways. Like, I just like what do you have any guess? Like, what might the C token be used for?
I mean, you could use it like the same way you use a credit card, in the sense that there's a discount on things you buy on OpenSea. Like a 5% discount on a Bored Ape is pretty hefty, right? If you buy it in C. So like, that's an example. You could have a staking mechanism where you earn. You could have a points distribution where you earn C throughout, like where there's a mechanism there. But yeah, as far as like, token mechanics, like you need things that people want to buy. Like you need discounts. You need mints that you do on OpenSea can only be bought in C, or if they're bought in C, there's a steep discount. You need where certain people who have a certain amount of C get access to IRL utility. Like there is a lot of things. I mean, the tricky part with a token is a token generation event is absolutely a thing for VCs. It's a thing for, people who are your loyal like customers. It is a thing to get teams paid out. But at the end of the day, you are creating yourself an entire community and financial vehicle to manage, which is not fun because it's not going to be a meme token. It's not like Rect, where Rect is a brand coin that, again, like, I'm not a believer. I've said it before. Both things can be true. I'm not a believer in brand coins as a mechanic for most brands. I believe in it for Rect. I could see it for Penguins. I don't see it for a lot of them. And for OpenSea, it's not going to be a brand coin. Like, people aren't going to be like, man, I feel so great about OpenSea. Like, I'm going to have this instead of OpenSea stock. So you're going to need to build in a ton of mechanics and utility, and I don't envy that. Now they have a platform, so they have a lot of ways to pull the levers there.
But like, there's got to be, like Rare says, minting with C. I have zero interest in minting with C unless it's something that gives me a huge discount, or it's the only way to mint this thing. But even still, it's like, okay, I'll just go buy some C and mint it, and then we don't need, like,
has to be a staking mechanism. Has to be
as a currency. It's like, we don't need more currencies. Like, that's just not enough. It's like, I can mint with ETH. I can mint with USDC. Like, it doesn't add any value to your platform unless there's some other perk for doing so.
I might do a thread on this. I'm going to think on what OpenSea can do with its token to make it hold value. And I might do a thread on this if I can come up with it. Because I think we need to be thinking about the utility of tokens more and more, whether it's like buying stuff or exclusively sold. Because, like, if there's a mint that's exclusively sold in C, if there is a 10% discount when you buy things in C, when you buy things on the platform on C. But anyway, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I know Joey's had his hand up for a hot minute. So Joey, go ahead and get in here.
Hey guys, so I am not a token expert, so I typically defer to much smarter token people. One of them being in the war room, who commented yesterday on the whole like pump buyback thing. And I'm here to kind of play devil's advocate to Cap's thing about how, like, oh, look at what Mog did, and now Pump's doing it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but again, I'm listening to somebody much smarter than me. To me, this is just like, by buying back your own token, you're just artificially propping up the price because you don't have either good tokenomics, you don't have a reason for people to hold, a reason people to use, etc. So, like, and this question is to you, Cap. So, like, why is that a good thing? Why is token buybacks a good thing for a token, in your opinion?
I mean, at the simplest level, it adds buy pressure, it adds demand, and shows that the team has conviction in what they're doing to some degree. Like, like, I like founders that believe in what they're building. I like teams that believe in what they're building. The major CEOs of Fortune 500 companies hold a ton of stock. It's aligned incentives at the simplest, like, yeah, that's it. It's aligned incentives. If everyone's holding the thing, that you're in the same boat together. Now, do those Fortune 500 founders sell their stock? Yeah, absolutely. I think Bezos sold over $1 billion of Amazon stock this week. But he's able to do that because he's held many, many, many billions of dollars of Amazon stock for years. So I think it's part of the narrative, it's part of the conviction, and it also is buy pressure. It helps create the flywheel where you can't ask the question, who's buying this? You at least have one answer. Well, the team's going to keep buying back tokens. It's also like, look at Hyperliquid's success. A lot of their success, I think, is their token model, how they did their airdrop. They're buying back their token relentlessly. Like, it's a really good flywheel. When you see $1 million buys every day, it gives you a lot of conviction as a speculator that, like, could the number go down? Yeah. But there's going to be liquidity. There's going to be someone on the other side of your when you go to sell, there's going to be someone there to buy, even if it's just the brand. I think it's one of the easiest things that these token, these brands could do post TGE. It's also made me think, and I think I saw someone said this on time. I apologize who said it. I won't give proper credit. Steve, why is it bullish for Web3 brands to buy back tokens, but it's bearish when they buy back?
This is absolutely hilarious that, like, you're bringing this up, because this was the next thing that I said that I was, like, teasing. I'm like, I want to have this conversation tangentially related, but I want to go to Joey first. It was TMA.
All right.
And I responded, so we can talk through my response, because he disagreed with me. He goes, teams buying their own token, bullish. Teams buying their own NFT, bearish. Why? And I said, I need to think more on this question, but my gut reaction is because they're different products. A fungible token is inherently more financial with larger supply and judged by metrics like market cap and price. NFTs, at least as referenced in this post, are more identity-driven with smaller supply with a focus on community and judged by metrics like unique holder count. Certainly price as well, but like that's one of the main metrics where we would see, look, how many times did we see in the bull where like, it is a high floor price, but the holder count is low, so that's going to change and that's going to dump, right? So we'd have that conversation. A company buy, I don't even know what I don't even know what I was trying to say here with the typo. A company buying their own token makes the price go up. A company buying their own NFT makes the community smaller and less vibrant, they said. And TMA responded, I would say NFTs are also largely judged on based on their floor price. Fair. I can tell from personal experience that my group's got a lot more opportunities as a floor run up. Fair. Same way, I feel like a lot of people change their PFP as the floor goes up as it's flex. Fair. I said, sure, but 1 billion, supply of 1 billion where the number goes up is very different than a supply of 10,000 when the utility and community is a selling point. So my big point here is, yes, like you can buy your own NFTs, but there comes a point where it's like, if there's only 10,000 NFTs or less in a collection, you would ideally want to have, in the perfect world, 10,000 NFTs has 10,000 members, or like 7,000 members or 6,000 members. That happens over time. If you're buying NFTs and you have 157 members who have a ton of NFTs and you as a brand own 6,000, like not a good look. And I know it's an extreme situation, but like it's one thing to buy them back for distribution, for opportunity. It's another thing to say, we're doing a strategic buyback and you just sweep the floor and pump it up, because I think a lot of people are just going to look to sell into that. Like at the end of the day, like a token, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether it's a brand coin or otherwise, signals sentiment and it functions more like a stock. It just does. I know it's not a security. I gave a bunch of reasons to Thread Guy on that response at one point, why it's not a security, but people look at it that way. I think with NFTs, it's just different. It's just, you don't look at it like it's a stock. It has a personal value to it, especially as we're referring to PFPs, which are in this particular world. And so I think like you go and sweep them. Like if you sweep NFTs and you have a crappy brand with bad utility, you have a crappy brand and bad utility and you own your own NFTs. If you buy back your own token and it shows conviction in your token and you have a community that's buying your token and the price goes up, it's different, especially with 1 billion tokens that exist in the market. Is that track? I don't know.
Yeah, fair. Supply definitely makes it very different. You bring a good point where hard to grow your community if the team holds, and like, yeah, 6,000 is extreme. I don't think they should do that. I think more of like, and maybe buybacks is different than holding back tokens. Like, I mean, the greatest PFP NFT collection of all time, the founders kept 1,000 of them. Worked, right? It was CryptoPunks were a free mint. Matt and John kept 1,000 of them. I would much rather have 10% of a collection in the hands of the team and the founders than some random whale who's doing it purely as a financial play. Someone that, because this happens too in NFTs. Maybe 1,000 or 10% is extreme, but it's not that uncommon for someone to go sweep 1%, 2% of a collection. They're not doing it for identity or to be part of the community. They're doing it purely as a financial play. And I think they're much more likely to flip out of the collection that at a time and way that will hurt the community and the rest of the holders, as opposed to a good founder, a good team. They're going to do it tactfully. They're going to do it over many years, not on one FSH, button click. I
think whales are different though, in the sense that like, well, one, that's not the team itself, although they could be market makers, but two, some of them sell. They're responsible whales. We talked about responsible whales at one point, right? Like on this show, like a couple of years ago. Like I think, and I do think some of them do buy when they sweep because they want to have a whole bunch of stuff the same way people buy a whole bunch of Pokemon cards. So there's different types of whales, I think. So I think it's that, to your point, like some of them do, but I also think that it's nuanced with whales versus like a team just buying. They're buying to prop their floor price. It's also like, maybe this is the wrong way to think about it. I also think there's manipulation in floor price is different in token versus stock versus token and stock versus like NFTs, where NFTs, like, I mean, look, someone goes out and spends a few $1 million on Bored Apes, the floor price is going to go up significantly. Or like Bored Apes might even be a bad example. Like someone who's done a few $1 million on Doodles, you can send them to 2-3 ETH real quick based on what the floor is, like really quickly. Like you can send them to 2, 3, 4, 5 ETH. So I think that aspect of it also is, you can look at it both ways, but that aspect makes it feel more like you're manipulating financially and creating false markets than on a token, I think, which, and by the way, a lot of people also burn token. Billy buys, Billy burns. Like Billy bets, Billy buys, Billy bets, Billy wins, Billy buys, Billy burns, right? And so I think that aspect of it also, the idea of burning a token is another thing that exists out there where, like, I don't think founders are going to buy, like, I don't think someone's going to, like, the Doodles team is going to buy like $1 million of Doodles and just burn them, right? Like they're going to hold them and figure out what to do with them. So there's just, it's just different, I think. And it's hard to put my finger on it. I need to do more thinking around it. Like I said to TMA, but that was my gut reaction.
It's also different. Like not all, just because someone's in crypto or has a token doesn't mean they're the same. They're all very different. Geo has a great point in the chat. It says buybacks are only bullish when there's actual revenue in product market fit. Hyperliquid, I agree. Hyperliquid is a shining example, but it's not just because they're doing buybacks, millions of dollars or token. They're able to do that because they're doing it with actual revenue that their platform is generating. They've found product market fit and they're reinvesting in their, it is very similar to a stock buyback in this sense. They're reinvesting in their company. They likely will maybe sell it someday, or I think, and this is where I need someone that can speak more eloquently and intelligently about this, but like a TradFi company, they buy back their stock. It's on their balance sheet, right? I don't know if there's is there ways, do they generate revenue off that? Do they generate fees off stocks they hold? This is probably an ignorant question if they do. I don't know.
I don't know.
So like in crypto, these companies buy back their token, they can LP it. Like they can make significant incremental revenue without ever selling their token. Like I think that again, I'm sounding ignorant because I don't know the answer to this, but I think this is unique to crypto. I don't think, like my impression, at least all this time, my understanding of TradFi companies, when they do stock buybacks, it's those stocks are on their balance sheet, but they're not, it's just an asset. It's not a revenue generating asset. In crypto, you buy back your tokens with a little bit of DeFi mechanics, they're all of a sudden their tokens, it becomes a revenue generating asset. Very, very different. And please check me if I'm wrong. And if I'm talking like an idiot here, to my knowledge that these TradFi companies don't generate any revenue off stocks they hold on their balance sheet.
Yeah. I don't know. Great question. And we can look that one up, but to your point, like that is a great, I think that's a really intelligent distinction as well. Like where you're saying like, you LP it, you can do things, you can do more things with a token. This is actually getting down a really good point to the question. You can do more things with the token. And again, like, I think part of it is like, you sell a token at conviction play or you're wrecked.
That answers the why token buybacks are better than NFT buybacks.
Yeah, that answers the question to a point.
Yeah, how are you gonna generate revenue on the NFTs you're holding?
But I also think it's like the feeling about it, and we'll go to Joey back here in a second here, but like it's the feeling about like join our community, it's a great community, it's got utility, we want you to PFP this thing, versus like, oh, by the way, just like, nah, we're just like sending and selling this thing and calling it a day, like we're taking our own thing. Like the identity, and I know it's whales and different things, but it's like the identity around a PFP, like your optimal situation with a PFP brand is, you have 10,000 people who hold it. Once you get to a certain point in unique holders on a token, it's fine if like a team holds a lot or somebody holds a lot for down the line or believes in it. It's just, it feels different and it's hard to explain, but like what you're trying to do with a PFP brand, very, very different. Joey, go ahead and get back in here.
So while I was waiting, I looked up Cap's question about do companies make money when they buy back their stocks? And the short answer is no, companies don't directly make money in the traditional sense. And then it goes down to say like, it could signal undervalue in your stock. But if you increase your earnings per share and things like that, then like you will eventually make money on holding those stocks. But they don't directly make money by buying back their stocks in TradFi. And then I wanted to kind of take the other side of this about like, is it bearish when companies buy back their NFTs, and kind of use the same argument that you guys used about the token, which is, let's say for example, let's look at Final Bosu as an example. So they minted, price went up, now price is about where mint price is, right? And they look at their holder base and they say, okay, clearly these people that keep undercutting the floor don't believe in what we're building, what we have coming down the pipeline, like our brand. But we do, because we know that, you know, we're going to launch anime, this and whatever, right? So to your point about like the token, right, and incentive alignment, as if I had the money, right, because not all projects do have the money, but if I have the money and I look at these NFTs and say, hey, listen, these are undervalued because I know what I'm going to deliver over the next 12, 18, 60 months. So I'm going to buy them. I'm going to put them in the treasury, and then I'm going to use them as the company continues to grow, either sell them off or giveaways or rewards, whatever. How is that bearish in comparison to buying a token?
I think it's just completely different to say, like, because like, what are you going to do with it? Now, so again, like, how is it bearish? Like, I think as an NFT company, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think it is your job is to provide, if you're a PFP company, provide a reason to hold your token, whatever that thing is. And if you're not selling that, it's one thing versus saying like a token which is driven on sentiment or brand. So I think there's just a different feel to it. Like, and again, like the pricing and what it is very different. Like you're talking about like Final Bosu, it's like, it's a PFP. If nobody wants to PFP and nobody wants to be involved in it, it means you're doing something wrong as a team. If people aren't buying your token because you think it's underpriced, because you're like, look, like we believe in this token, it's a different financial instrument and vehicle. Same with the stock. Like a billion of something is different than something that you're using for your identity on X, like, and you're using as an access pass. Like if you're building a brand that has access as a utility and you're reducing the number of access to that and taking it because you think that it doesn't feel the same to me. Like it feels incredibly different. And again, I got to do more thinking on it, but I do think the point Kat made about making more money on it is an interesting one of another why you would do it.
So here's a question then. So is there a difference between the founders buying more and the project itself buying more? Like buying back. So like if I'm a founder and right, like I choose to buy, you know,
I get the question. I think it's dependent.
On the floor or whatever. And I accumulate 20, 30, 50 as a founder because like they're just what I like. And there's multiple founders doing that versus the project itself. Is that a difference?
Yeah. I think it depends. So I think like on this one, and you know, this is getting super nuanced at this point, but I think it just depends. Like if a founder is buying rares because they like a rare because they like it, it's different. If founders just sweeping the floor, I think there is a difference there. So I think even within that, there's a difference where founders buying a laser founder, like if Gordon Garner wanted to buy laser-eyed apes because he liked laser-eyed apes and he was willing to spend the money on it, great, that's super fine. I get it, makes sense. You know, if Gary Vaynerchuk wants to buy certain VFriends because he feels a connection to them, that's different. Very different than just saying I'm going to sweep my own floor. But again, like the way Gary does it is he has Gary Original owned. Like here's an example of founder-led NFTs, whether they're buying or otherwise. Cap is like, I have VCon tickets that I got for being a speaker at VCon. I have VCon tickets that I got for not being a speaker at VCon, for just owning a VFriend. My VCon tickets that I got for being a speaker at VCon are Gary Original owned. They have the GOO metadata. That means more to me than a non-one. So I think like how you do it also matters. And that's a completely different thing where it's like if Gary buys them to say, I own these and the provenance matters and these were in my wallet. And if you're a fan of me, like I bought this because I liked it at one point. Now I'm going to give it out to the community the same way he's giving out VFriends 2 to people and other things. VFriends 1. Like that's very, very different. You know, to pivot, and then we could talk, Keith. I know we got to do more, you know, daily market update. I know you had a comment for someone you want to hit on. The other thing I would throw up there is like Gary almost with NFTs does exactly what you're saying with the token distribution. Like Gary sold the NFTs, but kept some back. And over time, he says, who wants to be in a community? Tag someone who you think would be a good VFriend. And he's done this long game for almost 5 years, for 4 years of get a Gary Original owned V-friend from somebody or give one away to somebody in the community. So he's almost doing exactly. Is it ever a surprise that anytime we talk about something that's well done, it always ends up coming back to V-friends, even though it doesn't get talked about as much? Like the utility, the way they're running things, the way they're distributing NFTs is exactly what you're saying with TGEs. It's just like, it seems like the limited 3-year utility on the conference. It feels like it just always comes back to V-friends, that every time we come back to it, it's Gary, Andy, and the team just absolutely doing something correct and seeing around the corner before it happens. So
I don't know. Quick digression. I don't know if Steve. I mean, maybe Steve is the signal with his geopolitical events.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like almost to the minute, I think you were talking about it. Israel launched a massive attack on the Syrian capital. What are we doing?
There's a conspiracy here to be had about the Epstein files, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to go down the conspiracy theory route because it's just not my jam usually. Like, even though I like talking about them, but like, you know, and this is a very serious one, on both ends of that, the conspiracy and the geopolitical event. But there certainly is a conspiracy theory. I mean, Joe Rogan literally the other day said, you don't drop a, you don't want people to talk about the Epstein files, bomb Iran. Like, that was a quote from Joe Rogan yesterday. And then today we see this. I don't know. Anyway, let's do this. Let's do daily market update, which is going to pivot really well. Or hold on. There's a comment from Solomon I know you want to bring up. Solomon said, sometimes the buybacks are a requirement because they might need to purchase shares for employee distribution as part of annual bonuses. If it's a dividend stock, then the stock itself would then make money. It's a good point by Solomon. I actually thought about this and didn't bring it up earlier because either you or Joey were cooking, but the idea of using that for employee distro, it's sort of like the same in a weird way. I'm going to make a weird analogy. It's me selling my Bitcoin in Coinbase to buy Bitcoin in my the Bitcoin ETF in my IRA. It's the same thing. It's like you're moving one thing to the other and you're basically using efficiency. So good point there. Let's do this. Let's do daily market update, which I have a feeling is going to roll pretty strongly into more, and then from there, we can talk a little bit about what I'm guessing is going to be the ETH discussion.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by Apecoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bring in the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bring in the flex. The home of NFTs, figures now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It is time for the daily market update powered by Apecoin, the home of NFTs. 8chain has it all, bringing fun, culture, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why 8chain is on top. They got the spotlight going with our friend at Clutch Markets. You want to check it out. Cap.
Yes, sir. Another green day in the world of tokens. Bitcoin up 2% on the day to 118,991. ETH leading the charge up 6% on the day, 3165. 4K, here we come. XRP up 2% on the day, 296. Solana up 5% to 167. Doge just broke 20 cents again, up 5% on the day. And Cardano back to 75 cents, up 3% on the day. Green across the board in the majors. Even runes are green on the day, the exception being Gizmo. Memes, Bonk doesn't care about Pump Fund buying back 30 million in tokens yesterday. It still led the charge up 20% on the day. Pump not far behind at 18%. Pepe up 9%, Sheeb up 7%, Doge up 5%. Pingu gave back a little bit of their pump, down 3% of the day, but still a massive 1.5 billion in volume, eclipsing even Pump and almost matching Bonk on the day. We're going to head up to NFTs, and you'll see very interesting to see a green day in NFT land with ETH ripping as well. Remember, ETH up 6% on the day. Usually we see these not correlated or inverted rather. Little Pudgies, let's go up a little bit. Pudgies up 7%, almost 15 ETH again on nearly 500 ETH of volume. DX Terminal, that's one of those OpenSea farms. Little Pudgies up 6% to 1.62. Milady Makers up 1% to 2.38. Doodles up 4%. Apes down slightly to 11.24. Mutants up 14% on the day to 2 ETH. Never mind. Forget what I just said. Sheesh. It's not. Mutants are up 2% on the day to 1.76. This is a scam collection, apparently. Doing 55 ETH. So we're back. When you start seeing scam collection do 55 ETH via wash trading and stuff, we are certainly back. But Azuki's up almost 2% of the day to 2.058. And then another one of those OpenSea farms, Larva Lads, up 6% on 40 ETH of volume. That's our daily market update brought to you by Ape Chain on top. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for Spotlight Season 2, go get that done today and get your clutch market parlays placed. Get those questing over there for Spotlight Season 2. Steve, back to you.
Right on. Look, I mean, you talked about ETH being up, ETH having a moment. I am going to roll us right into the more you know, because I think it'll kick off our next discussion.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the more you know, brought to you by ENS, as I frantically search for my window where I have this written down. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ethereum's rise, which has been nothing short of historic. Launched in 2015 at just 75 cents. Man, it would have been nice to get a bunch of ETH for 75 cents. It quietly gained, I was in ETH 2 years later. It quietly gained steam until the 2017 ICO boom when it pushed past $1,000 for the first time. Then came COVID, which crashed it in March 2020. ETH dropped all the way down to $90. Again, $90 would have been a nice place to get it. What followed was explosive. The NFT craze, DeFi summer, and institutional interest pushed ETH past $4,000 in 2021 at an all-time high of $4,878 that November. And while we're not quite back there yet, ETH did quietly hit 4,000 again just 7 months ago in December of 2024. No mania, no hype, just momentum. Now with spot ETFs pulling in over $1 billion in a week, layer 2 scaling fast, and restaking unlocking with new yield strategies, Ethereum's next leg up could be closer than people think. These milestones aren't just numbers, they're signals, and if history repeats, we might be closer to the next all-time high than most realize. And that was the more you know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, not just anchoring your name across Web3, but anchoring it across the internet. It's your identity, simple, memorable, and unmistakably yours. Security, interoperability, and ease of use. Go to ens.domain, secure your ENS domain today. Cap, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit of ETH here. I think we gotta talk about the cook that's happening. You know, I put something up the other day before it ran up another, 5 to 7%. And I'll just actually, that's my airdrop one. Hold on, give me a sec to pull it up. Because I had some of the momentum things on here, which isn't even representative of everything. But I got some pretty good response for this. So again, I'll kind of read it out loud because there's a lot of words here and it's hard to zoom in once you have a tweet up there. But I said, don't look now. Maybe I could zoom out on this one. Here we go. Don't look now, but ETH is quietly becoming the backbone of mainstream digital finance. ETH ETFs just saw over $1 billion in net inflows in a single week, driven largely by BlackRock's ETH A, which pulled in $675 million. SharpLink Gaming overtook the Ethereum Foundation as the largest corporate holder of ETH, with nearly all of it staked. Bank of America launched a new digital assets publication on chain, kicking it off with a bullish thesis on ETH. Tom Lee's BitMine now holds $500 million in ETH, and he's making the rounds on a TradFi media tour. Multiple traditional businesses are building on Ethereum or its layer 2s, from stablecoins to tokenized assets to enterprise infrastructure. Momentum is picking up, and the tech/tools with 3 O's, just so you know I'm not AI. I had another typo there. Again, lots of typos this morning. Only keeps getting better, and TradFi is full steam ahead. By the way, I thought you'd get a kick out of this, Cap. Diablito responds, I believe it's actually Tommy Lee, but you could check with Bread Guy. I responded with kind of a skull emoji and a Tommy Lee. Bread Guy, hold on. Did I lose Bread Guy's response here? Oh, no, he responded to him specifically. Bread Guy responds and says, unconfirmed until we review the tape, which is pretty good. And I responded, should be able to find some experts. Every man between the ages of 37 and 48 studied that tape extensively in the 90s. ETH, man, we love it. We've always loved it. There is something to be said about the fact also that I just love ETH. Like, I know it's just like a feeling. Maybe I'm just, that's not the right way to look about it, but I also just love ETH. What do you think here? Are you feeling like you said ETH to 10K this morning? I know like it's a kind of a meme, but is it crazy to think that we actually get like the prince that was promised here? Right? Like, I mean, ETH 10K was the prince that was promised. Are we going to get the prince that was promised?
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be this cycle. It's aggressive. It's happening. Like, it's everything we thought about is happening. It's just the price is lagging and seems to be starting to catch up now. So like I think it's very realistic ETH to 5K by the end of the year.
Yeah, so 5K is not, if you're looking at ETH to 5K by the end of the year, that doesn't even represent a 2x at this point. Do you think Bitcoin is a better buy than ETH right now?
No.
So you think Bitcoin will go up? So what's a so you're saying ETH to 5K is realistic. Right now, what is it? It's at like 3,100.
Yep.
So that's like I don't know. We'll do the math on it and figure it out. But so that's like a 62% jump, or it's less than 62% jump. That would be 2,900. What am I saying?
It'd be like Bitcoin going to 200K. And I
think that's a good
point.
point.
Goes to 5K before Bitcoin goes to 200K.
That's a great poll, by the way. Which happens first, ETH to 5K or Bitcoin to 200K? Because I think like that's my that's my like. So you're more conservative. Most people are saying like go to the moon and land on the stars type deal. You're saying maybe not, but we'll ETH to 5K feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think. I mean, could it? I hope it goes higher than that, but I'll be shocked if we don't have an ETH all-time high before the end of 2025. Maybe it doesn't end there, but I think with all the motion and momentum and again, simple economics, simple supply demand. I want to pull up the stats so I get it actually correct. But now, could institutions stop buying ETH? Could all the strategic ETH reserve companies be done? Yeah, sure. I think it's much more likely that we see many more ETH strategic reserve companies than we have today. I think it's much more likely that, like what we're seeing now on the ETF volume, I think it's much more likely that continues than we see net outflows. $1
billion in a week is a lot. It's a lot. And so I think you're right. Like, it's like we're going to continue, and it seems to be, I keep saying this and maybe it seems like, again, too simple, but like we all bought Bitcoin, we bought ETH.
Peter Thiel just bought a 9% stake in Bitmine Immersion Technologies. This is Tom Lee's ETH treasury vehicle. Like big money is flowing into ETH, not just in form of ETFs, but like influential TradFi people. When they make moves, people follow. Momentum is building. I don't know what changes it.
It's interesting. The DC investor this morning, someone said, I don't think ETH will ever trade above. Someone had said in April 10th, I don't think ETH will ever trade above 2,200 to 2,500, regardless of how high Bitcoin is. This is from April 10th. DC investor quoted and said, I don't think ETH will ever trade above 2,200. 20. It's basically quote tweeted with like a joke this morning. I feel like at the end of the day, like stocks, crypto, Bitcoin, whatever it is, yes, it trades on, fundamentals and stories. It also trades on vibes. Like everything does to a degree trade on vibes. And ETH has good vibes right now. It has people who are, building, like you talk about, like I gave those examples about the financial institutions, but like there's a world where Bitcoin is like this digital gold. Great, commodities people like that. There's also a world where like ETH is the sexy cryptocurrency to TradFi people.
Yes.
That's really bullish. Like that's really bullish. If TradFi
it's happening now. Look at this. Today, this is yesterday. 7 million of ETH was issued. 2,300 ETH was new issuance. 192 million was the net inflows just for the ETFs alone. 27 times more ETH was bought by ETFs net than was issued by the network today. That math doesn't math too much longer without price just going up. Like, you don't have to be smart to like, if that continues, number go up. It's that simple.
And it's
demand is currently greater than the current supply.
And it's like one of the reasons why I'm not over the moon about being in NFTs right now. And like, I like certain NFTs. I've been like de-risking and getting rid of a lot. It's just hard for me to say to myself, I want to own JPEGs as a levered bet on ETH anymore versus I want to own JPEGs because there's utility, there's community, there's other things that actually make me want to own them. Like I'm at the point where it's just like, I want to own ETH. It reminds me of like, we had, I don't know if you remember, we had Ledger Status on the show forever ago. And he had made the comment where he's like, every time I make a buy of any NFT with ETH, I'm thinking about ETH as being $10,000. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, anytime I make a bet with ETH, I'm thinking of ETH at a much higher clip than it previously was. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a big momentum mover right now. And it feels like it just feels like the player, it feels like you think, so if you were like saying for the next, again, this might be a post I do at some point.
I just stole a poll, by the way. I put it up top. What happens first? Bitcoin to 200K or ETH 5K? If anyone wants to get your votes in, it's up top.
All right, let me find it. Did you put it in the comments or did you put it in the
Pinned it up top.
Pinned it up top. Okay, good. You put it as a regular tweet. Good. Yeah. Because I think this might piss some people off, but I actually think ETH is the winner. And they're both good investments right now, it feels like, potentially, right? Like, not financial advice, who knows? We did just have a geopolitical event, but it's like, yeah, like there is a feeling like ETH has got ETH takes over as the belle of the ball here. I don't know what
I don't understand why it lags so much from the ETF going live. Like, I don't understand why all of a sudden we started seeing Lubin and Tom Lee and these strategic reserve companies. Like, they all knew the ETFs were coming. They all knew when the ETFs went live. It's hard for me to reconcile that, why there was like a year-long lag before all this stuff started happening. But I truly thought we would see all this we're seeing now. I thought we were going to see it shortly after the ETFs went live. We just didn't. It was like one segment from Larry Fink on CNBC, and that was it. Now we're finally starting to get all the attention. To your point, I think it's a very attractive crypto for TradFi people for many reasons. And Vitalik has not said anything
stupid
that's going to turn people off recently. Knock on wood. Find some wood somewhere.
It's like sort of like one of those things, like, why? Because like, even as I was doing the More You Know this morning, and you're looking up historical prices, and you're like, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I saying ETH was $1,000 in 2017 when it shot up, and now it's only $3,000? Like, a 3x from 2017. You know, Bitcoin was 16K 24 months ago, right? Like or 17K or whatever it was. So it's like Bitcoin is, 8x or whatever that number is, right? Like, 5, 6x since then in a 24-month period of time. Yet in 8 years, ETH has 3x. And it's like, again, I know it's not all about price action, things like that, but it's like, why? Like, why is it because Bitcoin's always had the story, it's had a bigger community, and like that's where it's like I'm trying to keep my pulse on the
So
narrative.
here's the thing, like, last cycle was really, for all intents and purposes, our first active cycle in crypto, right? I know we both held crypto prior, but it's our first time really being in the weeds. What we saw then, what I've always been told, is Bitcoin goes first. Bitcoin is the first mover, always. And it's same thing's playing out this cycle. It's playing out on a different scale because of the institutional money. Bitcoin was the first ETF got approved. Bitcoin went first. ETF was shortly behind, but Bitcoin was still having its moment. Not saying it's not having a moment. I mean, it's literally just hit all-time highs this week. It's just things lag. It goes Bitcoin, then ETH, and then where's the risk go after that? It's just, I think this is part of the cycle playing out. It's playing out different because of the landscape, the institutional money primarily. And it really kind of mimics what we've seen in prior cycles, just on a different scale.
And I think the story matters. I think the story matters. Like, I think the story matters in the sense that Bitcoin was an easy story to tell 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was an easy story to tell 10 years ago. ETH was a hard
story. We didn't talk about this the other day, like the new narrative. I heard it from B-Check. I tweeted it out, but we never really got into it. We had to punt it. I still don't think ETH nailed the narrative. I agree. It does matter. The story matters. Like, trying to pay people who are going to look at everything and get a deeper understanding, that's one thing. But the people who are actually buying these ETFs, our parents, they've seen something simple. Digital gold. Okay, I get that. That's easy. What the hell is ETH still? Is it a supercomputer? Is it, is it ultrasound money? Is it, the pick and shovel analogy, I think needs some little bit of wordsmithing to make sense. But it really is where the activity takes place. It's where the builders are. It's where all these L2s are being built. It's where the institutions are going to build, is on ETH, or more specifically, a layer 2 off, secured by ETH. Like, it's just, I don't see Larry Fink pivoting and deciding to launch the Texas Stock Exchange on Solana. It's just not going to happen. It's not built for that. It's an L2 on ETH makes all the sense in the world. And it's why Robinhood's doing their L2 on ETH. It's just like this, or L3. I don't know. Did picks and shovels hit for you? Is it just most people not get that?
I get it. I don't think it's bad. I just think, I don't know. I don't know if that's the one that sticks. I'll say this, like, I think sometimes narratives need to catch up, or they need to happen. And this is a very extreme example, and there's other reasons for it, but to be oversimplified, I use this analogy sometimes. Pets.com is seen as this big bust bubble, like, problem, launched, and it wasn't. Pets.com was Chewy. It was buy stuff for your pets online and get it shipped to your house. We weren't there yet. Like, Chewy, we're there now, and it makes sense. It's like ETH. When I was whiteboarding smart contracts for my team in recruitment marketing in 2017, nobody was able to build on ETH and build a real business and be like, okay, cool. So I just wait 15 minutes for this thing to happen. And then, like, does what? And why am I doing this? And how does it beat my existing systems? We're there now with that, or we're getting there. And I think that's the tangible difference in the changeable flip.
Yeah, I agree. I also think BEpic has some valid questions, concern points in abstract. Says, need people to come back to buy NFTs, or how does ETH go past 5K? Says, money is spread across many L2s and chains this cycle. I agree. And the L2 thesis is what made me so bullish on ETH and for scaling. It's also during the midst of this past bear, when ETH was lagging, what had me concerned, because it just, they went too far on the last update to where the L2s were making money, and not enough of that value was flowing back to ETH. Not enough value was flowing back to mainnet ETH, and therefore the underlying token was lagging. So yes, I agree. Money is spread thin across the L2s. It's going to get even more spread thin across more and more L2s. It comes from the institutional money. That's it. Like, I know this is like probably making some decentralized maxis and some freedom maxis and some anti-government maxis like really upset. The TradFi people is what pumps ETH price. Every reason you just mentioned. There's a lot of people out there. They feel like they're late to Bitcoin, and therefore they're going to feel like, oh, I was late at 100K. They're going to be saying the same thing at 200K. They're going to be saying the same thing at 500K. They're going to be saying the same thing at $1 million. There's people that already say that about ETH, but it's a lot easier to get your head around something that's only $3,000 currently a token than something that's 120 grand.
Unit bias.
People don't understand market caps. People in the head, you know what most people are going to do when they're looking at crypto for the first time, or they're talking to their financial advisor, and they're like, hey, we recommend you should get 5 to 10% of your portfolio in crypto. What do you recommend? I don't like, well, there's Bitcoin, which is digital gold. And the second, that we have access to an ETF is Ethereum for a lot of the building things. But Bitcoin is $120,000 a token. Ethereum's $3,500. Wait a second. You're telling me I can get, I don't know, can do the math. What is that? I'm just using round numbers, so I know it's not perfect, but 120K into 3,100 is what? 38. You're telling me I can buy 38 Ethereums for one Bitcoin? Give me the Ethereums. right? Like not understanding that it's really like if ETH price 38s from here, it's larger than Bitcoin, and I don't see that happening. I think unit bias matters. I think narratives matter. I think institutional money matters. I think these ETH strategic reserve companies matter. That's only going to keep growing. Are we going to see others? Are we going to see like we saw the WIF strategic? Yeah, sure. But let's be serious for a minute. Most serious people are not going to invest in a strategic reserve company that is built off of a meme coin that is extremely volatile and it can have a 90% pull down.
I mean, the story there, it's like, yes, it's a meme or whatever, but like, if you're talking to if I'm talking to the person who, like, I have a friend who got an NVIDIA very early and is like cooking on it. If I'm talking to him and it's like, okay, what crypto should I buy? He asked me what crypto should I buy. I'd be like, look, Bitcoin's always safe to hold. It's good. It's digital gold, blah, blah, blah. Ethereum, it's really good to hold. I'm not looking at him and I'm like, it's, picks and shovels. It's digital oil. It's the world supercomputer, whatever story you want to tell. I'm not certain that I'm going to go over and be like, oh, and this one WIF, what is it? Well, it's a dog. What about it? Well, did you see that it's wearing a hat? Like, I don't think that story cooks as much as the ETH one to my friend.
But this is cooking. Like, forget everything else. Just if all we get is strategic reserve companies. This is real. Like, bookmark this chart. We looked at it. It might have been earlier this week. If not, it was last week. There was 42 companies, I believe, that held more than 100 ETH in their treasury. Today, there's 54. We added 12 in a week. Oh, by the way, last week, Ethereum Foundation was number one. Now it's SharpLink Gaming because they just bought another. We'll see it up here in a second on the ticker. I don't know how many millions of ETH, but now SharpLink Gaming holds nearly $1 billion of ETH.
More than the ETH Foundation, by the way. And almost all of it is staked. Almost all of it.
Bitmine Immersion Tech, another one of these new companies, $500 million in ETH, like more than Coinbase. These number 1 and 4 just got created, literally just started. Well, no, I take it back. Bitmine Immersion was a Bitcoin strategic. They just flipped their strategy. They flipped from Bitcoin to ETH. But SharpLink just started buying ETH, right? Like, they're probably not going to stop. They're probably going to keep buying ETH. And I think the next time I open this website, it's highly likely. I would bet one Ethereum, if anyone wants to take the bet, if we open this up next week, that there will be 54 or more entities versus less than 54. Like, it's just like, this is going to keep growing. This here, so you're talking about of these 53 participants, it's $5 billion of ETH. If this continues, this is far more buying power and activity than NFTs.
Well, from a market cap perspective, even if you just talk like fundamentals, right now, I think ETH usually runs about 20% of Bitcoin. It's at about 16% of Bitcoin. So it's low. Like, I think like that's a number that people, I have to double check on that, but I think that's a pretty, round number there. But like, ETH running anywhere from 15 to 20% of Bitcoin. Right now, it's 16% of Bitcoin. So on a market cap level, I don't think it's insane to say if Bitcoin even stayed completely flat, that ETH being 30% would be wild. Like, that's a 2x from here. I don't think it's wild to say that ETH would be 1/3 of Bitcoin. Like, that's not a crazy thing to say out loud to me. Now, going to 10K if Bitcoin stays flat, 50% of Bitcoin on market cap basis, that feels a little heated. But like, if Bitcoin goes to 180K and ETH goes up in kind, like if ETH just tracks Bitcoin unit wise, it goes up more, right? Because you know what I mean? Because like Bitcoin goes up like these massive numbers, 175K or whatever. Like, from a unit perspective, like that's a lot if you own, tangible amounts of ETH. So I think that there's the financial aspect, but to the point of it all going together.
Look, like, these numbers are insane, man. Like, I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, it's insane. Issuance, 2,200 ETH issued yesterday. There's plus 63,000 in ETFs, 64,000 in strategic ETH reserves. Like, you can't, like, it just can't continue like this for much longer. Like, I'm surprised ETH hasn't pumped more just off this alone. Who's selling right now?
Yeah, by the way, yeah, exactly. And that's, I guess, the point is, like, who is the seller of ETH right now if people are stacking it in reserves? And like,
you look at the issuance versus just strategic ETH reserves, just ETFs, they took away What you're seeing on this screen, these 54 companies plus the ETFs took 126,000 ETH out of the market just yesterday, one single day.
And you also can't tell me, like, our story for ETH when it hit 4K, almost 5,000 in the NFT.
Feels good to be an ETH bull again.
Oh, dude, it feels so good to be an ETH bull again.
I'm an optimistic person. I tried to make it down, but I legitimately was pissed off at Vitalik for a few months. Like I was angry at the man. I was blaming Vitalik for my own personal relationship issues. Like I was mad. Everything I get a flat tire is fucking Vitalik's fault. That mother. Like I was pissed off at Vitalik, and everything I could blame in him, I was blaming Vitalik for in the ETH Foundation. But it just kind of was their fault, but it wasn't. And it's like finally things are starting to click, and it makes me feel good.
It feels good.
I was wrong for a good chunk of the cycle, but starting to look like the long-term thesis is absolutely playing out as we thought. I didn't expect the road bumps in between.
We're ETH guys. Like, we're ETH guys, man. Like, we always have been. We always will be. And it feels good to be bullish on ETH again and see other people who are. And again, the story last cycle was look at these gas fees, and the gas fees outpace, and this is what the pricing should be, and NFTs and all these things, right? Now we have NFTs, and it's a smaller market. We have traditional finance. We have an ETF. We have people buying for strategic reserves. There's the amount of catalysts. Like, you can't tell me that ETFs and strategic reserves aren't as good or better of a catalyst than gas fees on JPEGs. Like, and again, I love NFTs. That was a small part of the story. And I think that's where it sits at this intersection where 5, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, when I was whiteboarding ETH for my team in recruitment marketing at Progressive, explaining why it was so cool to have smart contracts and it's like Bitcoin, but you can build businesses on it, we weren't ready. Now we're getting ready and we're seeing it implemented.
Well,
and we're in a good spot.
There wasn't much you could do then. Like you really couldn't. I mean, you could, but it was at the time you really couldn't build anything that was like that took activity on ETH mainnet. It just wasn't feasible with all the activity. Like it was gas fees it was prohibitive. Now with viable L2s, I know we had L2s then. It's just you can now. You can, and you actually can build more on mainnet because the L2s have taken a lot of the load off, right? It's like GUI is 14.2 is recommended base is 7.1 right now, and that's high. Whereas this time in 2021, we were lucky if we got in, if it was below triple digits, like 100 GUI was the norm.
Yeah. Man, you kind of nailed it though. It does feel good to be talking ETH again. Better or worse, we're ETH guys. Like, yeah, we're Bitcoin people, we're crypto people, we're NFT people, but like, big fan.
We're builders. We're here for the tech. Like, we genuinely both are here for the tech. We enjoy this stuff, and the Bitcoin tech's just kind of boring. Like, yeah, I'm not selling my Bitcoin probably ever. Honestly, like it probably just gets willed to my kids, and if I, what I will likely do with it someday is I'll take out a loan on it and buy property, but I'm not selling it. Unless I like my kids need some surgery or something I can't afford, I have to sell. Like, I'm just stacking it. Will I sell my ETH? I'll use it sometimes, but like you, if I'm spending ETH on something now, it's like I want to either rotate something or put some fresh fiat in to buy more ETH because, yeah, I think everything we thought about ETH in 2021 and how this thing could scale, it's finally happening. It just took a few more years than I expected.
I wrote a book on it.
Some questions about what is that ETH reserves website. I dropped it in the chat and pinned it up top. I think Cairo, new font there threw me off a bit, but yeah, I pinned it up top in the Jumbotron if you're looking for it. Bookmark. It's a really valuable tool.
Yeah, and by the way, like
resource rather.
I mean, I wrote a book. It's over my shoulder. It's about how the blockchain can power businesses. Like ETH is foundational to that. Yeah. So
ETH is the infrastructure. Maybe that's the narrative, Steve. ETH is the infrastructure of building on chain. ETH is the leading infrastructure for blockchain businesses. I don't know.
The base layer of the internet. It's the base layer of the internet, man. It's like it is like Chris Dixon wrote Read, Write, Own. The own part of it, ETH is the leader in the clubhouse there. So yeah, man, it feels good. I feel good about it. I am. And by the way, speaking of like positive momentum, breaking-ish news. All of the crypto bills look like they are set to pass. I just retweeted it.
Three of
So
them, right?
it looks like, it looks like 3 crypto bills have enough votes to advance. So crypto week off to a strong sometimes people say we're not trying to make fetch happen. I didn't think we were making crypto week happen. We're making crypto week happen. If we get 3, and I know it was based on the bills and whatnot. It's just it's a for sure a positive time.
Imagine if we actually get some of the like rumored, highly speculative, like fake news that like they come out and there's no capital gains tax on Bitcoin or something like that. Like things could get really silly. Like we could see an insane candle that we haven't seen.
Wasn't that sell pressure too, though? Like people say that, I'm like, if there's no capital gains, like it's kind of like a prohibitive thing from selling to some degree. Like I never thought there should be capital gains and dividends.
And if they say that, I'm full porting my 401k into Bitcoin if that's the case.
I like it. I like the thinking. I like the conviction. But yeah, man, like it's a good day. It's a good day to be in crypto. It's a good day to be in ETH. And and
the other thing too is like we have some exciting layer 2 narratives. Like they're not Bitcoin layer 2s. They're not Solana layer 2s. I know those exist, but no one's talking about them. There's nothing really happening that's noteworthy. Like look, this is, a good tweet here on one of these layer 2s. I don't know what's driving it, but total value secured. Someone that's smarter. What's the difference between total value secured and total value locked?
I think it's probably just trying to say TVL. I almost God, we're on a bizarrely same page this morning more than usual. I actually almost not only brought this up, but I was going to quote tweet this and mention I have so many thoughts on like so many tweets I want to send out today. And I wish the timeline didn't just like make you so you can only send like one tweet every couple hours. Because even this one, I was going to quote tweet and talk about the fact that a lot of people were criticizing the fundamentals on Abstract. They led with product in a lot of ways, the way that Amazon and other companies lead with product and vibes.
I'm trying to keep my expectations in check because I think both of us were like, we're not like farming Abstract where you do a little more over there than I do. I really just stream, and I wasn't expecting a big giant bag of money from Abstract TG. I just don't know. It's not going to be the guy. Like I don't have high hopes for the token itself. Haven't. I'm like starting to check myself to not get over my skis. I think the Abstract TG could actually be a cook.
Who tweeted this, by the way? What's the tweet? It's by
EEELISTAR. But yeah, TVS or TVL, they are different. I just can't define the difference. What consider something secured versus locked. But total value on Abstract.
What's the @ that they have? Because I want to actually have this for later.
EEELISTAR. 3 E's.
Oh, 3 E's. EEELISTER. TAR. That's the problem, dude. X search is a nightmare, dude. I actually follow this person. Cool.
Yeah, 50% of weeks is huge. I have no idea what's driving it. Who's moving money to Abstract right now? What I've seen is some like not even really whales, but just like some big people have started getting active on Abstract. I saw Dim, who swapped his PFP to a Pudgy recently and had over 100,000 points last week on Abstract. I don't think he's been farming the whole time. I think you're just seeing. I think it's getting now closer to like TGE is in sight now. It's closer around the corner, and I'm guessing, pure speculation. I think this 50% lift is people starting to position themselves for TGE that they don't want to miss now. I think they're starting to get some FOMO and people realizing that this Abstract actually is catching some more attention than they maybe thought. And I don't know. I'm an optimist, so I hope it does well. But my expectations are growing, and I'm trying to keep them from getting too high before TGE. But it's also making me think. Like I know you talked about getting a big. I've got a little Pudgy on my list because should I be doing more to maximize my XP there, because I do think the TG I'm much more bullish on Abstract TG now than I was a few months ago.
One more funny thing related to ETH. So we mentioned Joe Lubin's company, Sharplink Gaming, now is the largest holder of ETH, holds more than the ETH Foundation. Check out this chart. You want to see something funny? You ever seen I love when a stock chart for crypto looks like a meme coin chart. So first of all, this is the last month, $9 a share up, like 3x in like a month. Okay. So like that's crazy in itself. But look at the all-time chart. Or hold on, it was 1 year looks better. So like, look, it's like a meme coin. It's like, oh, it launched, oh, to the moon. Oh, we're still up, but we're not up to where we were,
What drove the spike prior to them doing the ETH?
I don't know. I just love this chart because this looks like a meme coin chart. It looks like a meme coin chart. It's like you look at the past, month and you're like, okay, wow, something's up like 3x in a month. That's crazy. It's almost meme coin-esque. And then you look at it in the last year and it's like flat. Somebody discovered something up. What was this? Like 20x, 30x, and then back down. And then up.
Every one of these that has success, and not everyone's gonna have one of the co-founders of Ethereum leading the charge, right? So I don't expect every ETH strategic reserve company to follow suit here, like SBET has. You can't tell me there's not other people right now, like this very day, thinking about doing something similar. Like they see how the market receives it. Some are discussing it, some are going to do it, some won't. Some will just add ETH to their treasury. Like Wall Street is rewarding these companies that do it, and will the music stop at some point? Maybe, but right now, I just I not only do I expect when I bet that strategic reserve list is greater than 54 next week, dude, I think it's over 100 within the month. That's maybe crazy, but I would not be surprised. I should say I'm not only going to bet it's over 100 within the month, but I think would not be surprised at all if that number almost doubles, if not more, within 30 days.
I like it. I like the conviction. I like the thought process. But yeah, I mean, that said, let's send everyone off into their day. I say
for tomorrow, just wanted to show you to get on your radar, maybe do a little bit of research because I haven't, but it's on my list today. First, Kaido, I interpret what they're saying is it might be like access to a pre-sale. They're calling it capital launchpad loading. And this is Simon of Simon's with Moonrock Capital. I think they've got a pretty good track record. It says Kaido's capital launchpad just around the corner. It seems like Espresso Sys, which is Ethereum's interoperability layer. Espresso is the fast finality protocol powering secure cross-chain confirmations for rollups, is going to be the first deal being offered to yappers and Kaido stakers. There was no doubt that Punk 9277 will bring top-tier deal flow to the launchpad. Now the question is, will he also have the power to negotiate special deals for the wider Kaido ecosystem to make it no-brainer opportunities in return for the attention? Professional guess is yes. We'll see. I just saw this morning, so I'll need to do some more research on Espresso, but I'm a participant. If I have a chance to buy into pre-sale or something, I'm probably going to do it. So I think that's something else as Kaido evolves, worth paying attention to what this capital launchpad becomes.
Yeah, I mean, very similarly to a degree, a little bit different, but it's like similar, like you saw a sort of a Quack to mint mechanic that Wallchain launched yesterday. So getting more creative, where it's like instead of just being like Quack airdrop done, it's Quack mint actually participate in something. So getting more creative with campaigns, I think, is good to see from some of these companies. So excited for that. But look, Cap, I know it's 10:03. Actually, I have no idea what I've done with my abstract streaming chat, so I can shut it down when I'm done. Oh, there it goes. So let's let everyone sail off into their day. I know great discussion this morning, exciting one, feeling good. Let everybody jump out. But thanks to everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I think Bunchu's coming back on for an AI with Bunchu, so we'll get an AI update, maybe get some answers about what's going on with Grok, freaking me out a little bit. But we will see more about that tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.